Hello, my freaky darlings. Welcome back. Have you ever called a pet or a child or a friend or anything or anyone an imp? I know I have. In fact, I call both my cats little imps on a pretty regular basis, and I always mean it with the greatest of affection. And it's because they're usually being really naughty and yet incredibly adorable at the same time. Now, but have you actually ever thought about what an imp actually is? I know I hadn't until this week. Being called an imp is a term of endearment I grew up with. My mother often called me a little imp. Now, I'm not entirely sure I always deserved that particular term of endearment, and I have to wonder if she knew what she was calling me. And if she did, well, I'm not sure how I feel about that. And, we should probably have a chat about it. Or not. But anyway, so, an imp is a European mythological being similar to a fairy or a demon. It's frequently described in folklore and superstition. Imps are often described as troublesome and mischievous, more than seriously threatening or dangerous, and as lesser beings rather than important supernatural ones. The attendants of the devil are sometimes described as imps. They are usually described as lively and having small stature. So, the whole demon thing and being in the service of the devil, being called that's kind of insulting, right? I mean, if you're going to call me that or insult me, at least call me something that's scary and dangerous, like a witch. You know what I mean? Anyway, the word imp was originally derived from the Old English noun impa, which meant a young shoot or sign of a plant or tree, and later came to mean the sign of a noble house or a child in general. But as of around the 16th century, it was often used in expressions like imps of serpents, imp of hell, imp of the devil, and so on. You know, you get the basic gist. And by the 17th century, it came to mean a small demon or a familiar of a witch. Imps are often shown as small in stature and not very attractive. Once again, fucking insulting. Their behavior is described as being wild and uncontrollable, much the same as fairies, and in some cultures they are considered the same beings, both sharing the same sense of free spirit and enjoyment of all things fun. It was later in history that people began to associate fairies as being good and imps as being malicious and evil. However, both creatures are apparently fond of pranks and misleading people. Most of the time these pranks were harmless fun, but some could be upsetting and harmful, such as switching babies or leading travelers astray in places which they were not familiar with. While imps are often thought of as being immortal, they can be damaged or harmed by certain weapons and enchantments, or be kept out of people's homes by wards. Imps are also portrayed as lonely little creatures in search of human attention, using jokes and pranks to attract human friendship. This often backfires when people become annoyed with the imp's endeavors and then drive the poor little things away. Even if the imp was successful in getting the friendship it sought, it still often played pranks on its friend, either out of boredom or simply because it's in their nature. That trait led to using the word impish for someone who loves pranks and practical jokes. See, once again, I do not like pranks or practical jokes. I fucking hate them. I mean, if you really want to piss me off, you prank me. That would probably get me all stab happy. But anyway, eventually it came to be believed that imps were the familiars of witches and warlocks, where the little demons served as spies and informants. During the time of the witch hunts, supernatural creatures such as imps were sought out as proof of witchcraft. But the so-called imp invariably turned out to be merely a black cat, lizard, toad, or some other form of uncommon pet. Imps have also been described as being bound or contained in some sort of object, such as a sword or a crystal. In other cases, imps were simply kept in a certain object and summoned only when their masters had need of them. Some even had the ability to grant their owners wishes, much like a genie. Imps can be found in art and architecture throughout the world. Most of the time they seem to have been purposefully hidden within intricate designs and can only be found by the most interested and observant of people. So, have you been called an imp? And now that you know what imps are, how do you feel about that? And if you call your kids or pets imps, are you going to keep calling them that? I think I'm going to keep calling my cats imps. Because they're my familiars. Anyway, that's it for this week. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and share it with people who are also fascinated by some weird shit, like mythical creatures, ghosts, urban legends, and things that go bump in the night. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and if you see a tiny little creature trying to cause havoc and a bid for attention, maybe give it some love and maybe it'll grant you a few wishes. You never know. Bye.